Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. And of course, the GOP is going to start their racist, misogynist attacks on uh, presumptive nominee Kamala Harris. She does have enough delegates now committed that we can call her the presumptive nominee event, but there will be no brokered convention, no open convention. There are still stupid articles being written by straight white men. They're like, oh, this is a mistake. We shouldn't rally behind her so quickly. Fuck you. Yes, we should. I think this is the most energy I've seen for a presidential campaign in the last decade. Um, so, uh, you know, some asshole congressman called her a DEI hire for vice president and that she's not up to the job. And it's like, I'd like to know what that guy's resume is. He seems like a moron. But they're going to do this. JD Vance said either yesterday or the day before, oh, they all think everything's racist. You know, I had I had a Mountain Dew the other day, and then a diet Mountain Dew. I had a diet Mountain Dew the other day, and then I had another one, and they'd probably call that racist. And then he followed it up with, "What? They're good." He's kind of not turning out to be very good at this. I saw he had, I don't know, some event somewhere, and like he couldn't hold focus. He just kept kind of talking to the crowd, but not to the whole crowd, like to individuals. And like, yeah, huh, you're funny, huh. But no, we don't know what they were doing or what they were saying. He's just not. It's very awkward and strange. Um, and at their first rally together in Grand Rapids, Michigan, Trump introduced him as J.D. Wentworth. Hello, mental acuity. Uh, and I don't know if this is the national thing, but J.D. Wentworth is like a quick loan kind of place, and they're on TV. Their toll free number is 1-800 cash now, which is the perfect kind of thing for Trump to think about because um, all he's looking for from those rallies and for all those people is cash because he doesn't know how to make any on his own. He just has to ask for it from other people. Um, but this whole thing, I don't want to see from now until the election, just a bunch of discussion about what the Republicans are saying. Of course, they're going to attack, and they did talk about this sort of a little bit at the table on The View this morning. Of course, they're going to attack because they don't have a platform to run on. I mean, they do, but it's so fascist they don't really want to talk about it, and they don't really want to talk about issues. So I would like for us not to fall into that trap that we always do and let the Republicans control the narrative and just continue to talk about the value of this candidate and potentially the ticket whenever that's going to be. Apparently, Kamala has gotten some asked for research on the governor of North Carolina, the governor of Pennsylvania, um, governor of Michigan, but Whitmer has already said no, that she didn't want to do it. And Mark Kelly, the senator from Arizona, Gabby Gifford's husband, which is an interesting choice. He's a former astronaut, but I don't know that we want to give up a Senate seat in such a purple state. That seems kind of risky. So we'll see how that shakes out. She's got time before that announcement has to come out. It doesn't have to come out anytime before the convention. Um, but there's also talk about because the Republicans thought they were running against Biden Harris, and now it's Harris and question mark. Um, Trump picked JD Vance, who doesn't really move the needle at all for him. So there's also discussion that they're potentially thinking about replacing JD Vance on the ticket, which is hilarious. But they don't have much time to do that because that will then has the potential to become a problem for um, ballot deadlines in some states. So, from what I understand, uh, the the timing of all of this of Biden stepping out has made it we aren't going to really have any legal issues regarding the change of the names on the ballots. So that was a big concern to me earlier before all this happened, but it seems that now that we've done it and done it in time, we're going to be okay from that standpoint of being attacked by the GOP for having the names on the ballots the way that they appear, not following the rules and then having all of these court cases kind of end up deciding who becomes the president, which, that would end up in the Supreme Court, and we all know who they're favoring. Um, so, I would rather be talking more about the discussions and Kamala is sorry, Vice President Harris. I'm trying not to use her first name, although I love it. That's another one though that to look out for is anybody that mispronounces her name as Kamala, or just fucks it up in general, is another just sort of racist dog whistle that it's too difficult to pronounce. They already started attacking JD Vance's wife, who is of Indian descent. Like it's like they're at least they're cannibalizing their own. But uh, yeah, I don't want us to fall down that that trap. Um, and apparently Joe Biden is going to have an address tomorrow evening, which will be good, because now there's all this. Where is he? What's going on? He's been in COVID isolation. That's how isolation works. You ding dongs. Um, so I'm interested to see what he has to say about this whole thing. I'm sure it's going to be hugely supportive of Kamala, and I think that another thing that should have the Republicans scared is, they won their case in the Supreme Court. The president now has immunity for official acts. And Joe Biden is a lame duck president. He's not looking for reelection. There's a lot of things he could do. Um, he won't because he's too honorable of a person, I think. But they should shake in their boots a little bit about that, because getting what they wanted, they've sort of given him, the ammunition to do anything. Um, I do hope, actually, that on November 6th, after the votes have been cast, he pardons um, his son. Which one is it? Hunter. Because that's all a sham anyway. But, there's a long way to go between now and November. Apparently, it's 105 days. Um, but I will say, I don't think the Republicans are going to get very creative in all of this sort of mudslinging. They'll use she's a woman, and that she's a woman of color, and it'll be, she slept her way there. She didn't deserve it. She got diversity hire. Uh, and Sonny Hostin is absolutely correct. If you see any black woman in any position of any kind of power, she did have to work twice as hard as anybody else to get there. Um, so there's really no sense in airing all of that stuff. This is another thing that I would hope, and at least if it's successful, um, can engender some support for shortening our election cycle. It's way too long. Um, and then we just don't need all that hammering of all of that crap for that long. People get exhausted. And that's why they say people who are undecided, decide within the first couple months before the election, or the last couple months before the election. I guess usually after conventions. Um, it would like if it's going to be that many people who aren't paying attention anyway, then why the fuck are we doing this? Why do we have to go through this and the rest of us have to suffer through it for 2 fucking years? Um, I know you could sort of tune it out, but it's hard to. Anyway, so that's that. Let's not let the Republicans control the narrative, and let's not watch the media that does that.